Thanks a lot for making it to this particular session, workshop, whatever you want to call it. Um, Insider's Guide to a Winning Consulting CV. And what a timing, because I think currently this is the week where in international global business schools like INSEAD and HEC and a lot of other schools, this is the week when there are a lot of deadlines of consulting companies, including McKinsey. And I think for INSEAD, BCG deadline is tonight. In fact, CV submission deadline. And I think for some of you, you might have deadlines in October, and some of you are just here to probably, as you are starting the consulting preparation, you want to have something on the CV. So I think those who are in a urgent state, those who are not, I think for all of you, you are most welcome. Let's. I hope this session adds value. I have divided it into two. One is I'm going to talk about some best practices for first, let's say, 20 odd minutes. And then I'm going to look into three CVs. Yeah. I think some of you have volunteered to, kind of roast their CV or critique or discuss their CV. Thanks a lot for those who did that. So I'll go through their CV. I'll apply some of the best practices that I am going to discuss in the first half on those CVs. I'm going to, kind of tell you in my mind, if I go through the CV, what are some of the improvement areas? Yeah, so that we can also see live in terms of how a recruiter or how a consulting partner, kind of goes through your CV. Yeah, that's the agenda in a nutshell. Are you with me on this? Yes, no?
Yes,
Hands
yes.
up. Great. Super. So, a quick introduction. We always have some newcomers, so probably 2 minutes I'll take. Um, and in this case, probably in this workshop or this session, this slide is much more important than some of the other workshops. So, I'm actually bringing to the table all three perspectives over here. So, as a career coach as well, I'm going to give my perspective as a McKinsey consultant and also as a recruiter. So not just as a standalone independent recruiter, but also I'm thinking about my days in consulting when I was on the other side, um, taking interviews for some of the campuses, some of the lateral hires. So a consulting hat, a coaching hat, and the recruiter hat, all three I'm going to wear. Yeah, I think most of you know me. So I was a consultant for almost 6 years. I've had an amazing consulting career. Started with McKinsey Germany, and I've worked across the globe. Specifically, spent a lot of time in Europe, Asia, and Africa as continents. Predominantly working on the strategy projects, and hence you can see so many different strategic projects on this particular slide. Really enjoyed my time. And since last 10 years, I'm full time into coaching, coach consulting aspirants, current practicing consultants, managers, partners, and I also coach ex-consultants who are CEOs, CEOs, founders, etc. Yeah, so I'm quite active in this particular consulting as a space globally. Have clients across 50 plus countries globally. So yes, I'm quite drenched in this particular industry. Being consultant, you guys already know because you are probably most of you are joining through Being Consultant link. So we have decided that we don't want to just create a prep platform just like the other hundreds that they are there in the world. We want to differentiate ourselves with a much more strategic thinking, much more longer platform, the entire career coaching platform for those who are interested in consulting careers. I strongly believe that you should not be preparing just to crack case or just to get into consulting. You should be preparing so that you can be a really good quality consultant. You can thrive in consulting. You can enjoy the consulting career. And that's the philosophy with which we are going forward. And we have a lot of communities, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, so many other things. Cool. So with that, let me go to the consulting CV part. Yeah. So if there is one slide with which, let's say, if we need to uh, end the session, then that slide would be this one. Yeah. So on the left hand side, I actually have a successful CV. The names, etc., are sanitized, but this is the CV of somebody who currently works in NBB. Um, and those who are new to this space, they might feel, oh, this is like super simplistic, right? But that's the fun, right? So consulting CV is simplistic. Yeah. The CV that works in consulting, in a nutshell, if you think about it, it's a strict one-pager CV. I see a lot of people saying, I have 10 years of experience, 15 years of experience. How come we can have one pager? Of course, that's the that's the art and science of CV writing. You even if you have 20 years of experience, doesn't matter. What we are looking for is a one pager CV that works. The CV necessarily has to have achievement oriented language, and of course we'll go deeper into it. Yeah, so we don't want to talk about a job description language. We don't want to talk about just what you did, your actions. What we are talking about is highlights. Yeah, we are talking about is achievements. And third is, those of you who thought it's very simple, that's the beauty of it. In fact, that is the way we want it. Your content should speak, not the styling. So extremely conservatively formatted, no color, simple fonts, etc. No photo. There's a reason for that. Most of the consulting companies pride themselves for being an equal opportunity employers. So they don't want anything on the CV that kind of talks about your gender, your age, your racial profile, etc. So we avoid photo at all. Yeah. Those of you who are in MBA schools probably at this point of time might ask me, or those who are going to join MBA this September, that our profile book has a format on which there is a color photo and all that stuff. So profile book CV format has nothing to do with the consulting CV format. Profile CV formats are generally made by the MBA schools so that they have a consistent CVs across the 300, 400 out of you. Over there, consistency is the key. They want to represent you in a very consistent way. Here, in fact, it is the exact opposite. Here, you want to differentiate yourself. You want to really write something which is, what makes you different for consulting companies. So the left-hand side format is actually the ideal consulting CV format. So those who are already part of BC and have access to BC database would know that there is a CV guide and there are templates. So of course we can use that. This template is an MBA template, but there are templates which are similar uh, for experienced person and also those who are graduates. So people who are only having bachelors would have a little bit different CV format. But again, almost 90% like this, look and feel will be equally conservative, simple, but some sections will be a little bit different. And experienced consultant, or experienced professional, somebody who is not directly coming out of MBA, but also joining as a lateral. And those formats generally, we will also have a professional summary. But otherwise, for 70-80% of you, this is the format on the left-hand side that we are talking about. Okay. Now, let's go a little bit deeper, guys, because I don't want to just give you tips. I want to also, kind of really provoke that thinking, that mindset. Okay. So when we are talking about this specific CV format, why is this? Yeah. Why consulting needs this kind of a format? Yeah. And I always go back to the basic and simplistic definition of the consultant as a profession, a recruiter definition, as we call it. Consultant is an expensive advisor who solves ambiguous problem and convinces the client of the situation. That's the definition. Yeah, one of the definition of consultant. As a result, we know consultants, when they work on the projects, we are talking about those the expensive advisors. Hence, we have very high expectations, which means they need to achieve really, really challenging goals. They need to really work independently, right? And these things not only get evaluated in fit and case, but also on the CV. Similarly, consultants always solve ambiguous problem. In fact, if the problem is simple, why would you hire a consultant? Yeah. So one of the statistics suggests that when you hire a consultant, had you solved the problem yourself and not through consultant, it would have been 4 to 5 times cheaper, right? So of course, hiring consultant is expensive, and you will only hire them as a company if you have problem which is ambiguous, which is unclear, etc. So your problem solving skills, of course, get evaluated in the case, but we also want to see the evidence of that on the CV. Okay. Third part is convincing of the client. Again, as we know, consultants work in a situation where a lot of people are skeptical about will this happen or not. We have tried solving it 2 times, 3 times. We couldn't solve it. How can these guys can solve it? So there's ambiguity. Second, some of the decisions are tough, and hence there's a very high likelihood that advice will remain advice and they will not get implemented. For all these things, consultants need a very good convincing skills, right? And convincing skills, of course, the base of the convincing skill is strong communication. So whether your communication is strong or not, whether you have a good teamwork or not, of course, we'll test it through your fit. But also, it needs to be demonstrated on CV. Okay. So what I'm trying to tie back, guys, is right when we are talking about a strong CV, right? What all things the CV should have, and why a consulting CV should have it. Yeah. This is all connected to, the way consulting life happens, the consulting project happens. Yeah. That's the reason we want all these things. In a nutshell, yeah, if I go back from the definition of a consultant to the evaluator's mindset, yeah, if you send me a CV, that can you have a look at it, yeah, whether I have a good fit for consulting or not, yeah. Then what is it that I would see? I will see these 5 things, yeah. In fact, one of the biggest criteria in consulting evaluation is ability to set and achieve challenging goals. Okay, that's the first point here. So what I would see is whether the candidate CV has high achievements. Yeah. Secondly, has the candidate shown the kind of a sense of independence? Yeah. Third, which is a little bit counterintuitive, but it's actually not counterintuitive. It is almost complementary. Has the candidate work in team? So a lot of time we get profiles where people have worked only as an individual contributor. So on these CVs, we always say that that teamwork, yeah, or demonstration of working together, demonstration of solving a problem collaboratively is very weak. Okay, so we need somebody who can work well in team and has that evidence on the CV. At the same time, the from a mindset perspective, this person needs to be independent. He can take the problem and run himself, right? Or if I give him a task on Monday and come back on Friday, that person should take that hypothesis forward independently. Yeah. So demonstration of that we are looking for. That are the point 2, 3. Yeah. Um, Fourth problem, again, similar to the first one, has the candidate solved challenging problems? Yeah. And fifth is, of course, the candidate is strong communicator. How do you evaluate communication on the CV? It's just the quality of the language that you are using on the CV. Yeah. Are you a crisp communicator, right? Are you communicating in minimum number of words, and showcasing that impact, right? So all these things we can easily get when you glance through the CV. Hmm? Okay, one more point, and purposely I actually show this slide because I want you to realize how your CV travels. And when we always talk about when consultants are working, they should take into account the stakeholders, right? Because ultimately, the solution should be in such a way that every stakeholder should be having that buy-in. Yeah, then only the consulting project is successful. Similarly, right, now that you guys are thinking about getting into consulting, right, have that consultant mindset. Already think about which are the stakeholders through which my CV will pass, right? And generally, in the recruitment process, the CV actually gets passed through three different from three different stakeholders, right? So when you start networking to generate your interview calls, or when you start networking to ensure you know more about the firm and you can do some name throwing in your cover letter, generate referrals, etc. Yeah, that's the time you will approach senior consultants, right? Managers, principals, partners. Yeah, they are the ones who will see the CV first, right? And of course, basis their evaluation, whether this person is fit or not, whether he's achievement oriented or not, etc., etc. They will decide whether to refer you or whether to put a word in their company for you, or let you say that then in their cover letter that mention my name. For that, a strong CV is required, and these are the guys who have a very executive mindset. Yeah, senior consultants. Yeah, they'll read the CV, as I say, from top down. They'll see that first one third part of the real estate, right? They'll see those numbers, right, on the CV. Then comes the recruiter, right? So if the application goes in, so before the first interview invite is generated, you need to get shortlisted, and that is when a recruitment team looks into it. Yeah, what is it that they look for? Again, achievements only, but of course, then the good company brands in achievements, whether the numbers are high, GPA, your different scores, scholarships, yeah, whether you have helped the company to improve profitability, achieve some business target, etc. All these numbers, yeah. That is where it's not over, yeah. Again, don't forget every interviewer will have your CV in front of them. Yeah. And interviewer, as we know, will ask you fit. I mean, every consulting interview has two parts: fit interview, case interview, right? In the fit interview, of course, he will refer to your CV and, kind of pick up line and ask, can you tell me more about this? And can you tell me a story, how you did it and all that stuff? Yeah. So even over there, right, it's important that you have interesting work that is put in, not just interesting, but the work that you can defend. Just writing for the sake of writing, but if you're not able to talk about it at breadth and depth, yeah, then the battle is lost. Okay, so CV, when you are writing, right, write from all these perspective. There is that partner principal kind of a person who is also going to see it. So is it catering to that? A recruiter will also go through it. Yeah. So is it ticking all the boxes for recruiter? And secondly, whatever I'm writing, yeah, are interesting stories emerging out of it? Can I talk about it? Yeah. Will they resonate with your with the interviewer, etc.? Okay. So again, I'm just setting the ground. So when you sit to write the CV, yeah, some of these mindsets, yeah, is something that is very, very important. Few more thing I'm going to add to that. Yeah. Uh, in fact, yesterday only I was talking about the first point to one of the person who's applying for McKinsey. Forward looking, right? Always remember that CV is a document that is forward looking document. So if you are coming from, for example, technologies, yeah, uh, as your background, and you are applying to consulting, yeah, the project description that you will write as in the bullet point, write it so that it resonates with consulting community. and not the technology community. Yesterday, I was looking at a lot of bullet points in this CV. It was so technical, right? So that person coming from, I think he was from operations background. Uh, there was too much details, yeah, at an operation level, at a factory level, in a lot of logistics related kind of a KRAs, etc. But those lines were not elevated at a strategy level. So for a logistics or a manufacturing company, these are probably good lines. But don't forget, ultimately, your CV will get evaluated by consultants. So you need to bring it up at a consultant level. I have a small story to share on this about my own CV. So when I was applying and I was getting my CV reviewed through the help that I had, so one of the BCG consultant looked at my CV and he laughed at it, said, what have you written? And he was referring to one of the bullet points. So my background was in technology. And one of the bullet point that I had written was about, so I was a Java developer. So I used to do coding. And one of the thing that I had done was about, I had written an algorithm, which was an image detection algorithm. I'm talking about 2003, 4, 6. I think in today's time, you might think that this is almost like a childish coding, but whatever. At that point of time, it was a big deal. So image detection algorithm, and that is what I had written, right? I had written that, okay, or whatever. So developed an image recognition algorithm for an airline company or whatever, etc. And he pushed me. He said, "This is very technical. What's the so what of this? What is it that the airline company did about it? Yeah, can you elevate to a strategic way? Why did they hire you?" Now the funny thing is, I did not even know, because even before that entire thing was delivered, and the project was still ongoing when I left that company, and I had come out for MBA. So he said, you should call up your manager. So I called up my manager, and that time manager told me that this was for Virgin Atlantic, by the way. And this was just after 9/11 attack had happened. And that time the immigration department at the airport, they wanted kind of a system wherein every incoming person can be, his image can be matched with a terrorist or potential terrorist database. And if it is more than 70%, then that person will be separated out. So it was used for that purpose, right? It made the immigration kind of process almost 40 to 50% faster, yeah, and much more effective, right? So the entire bullet point, which was about amazingly done coding or image detection as an algorithm, which was very technical way of writing it. Yeah. Ultimately, I revamped it, saying something like, what can I say? It's like improved the immigration process efficiency of a major airline by 30% by improving the whatever that detection method. What I'm trying to say is, while I was writing the CV on in the first version, I was still thinking about my previous role. So I was in that source role. I should have been in a destination role. I should already be thinking about in McKinsey or BCG, yeah, this work will be seen in what light? Are you with me? Are you understanding what I'm saying, uh, it's unclear? Yes, no?
We're able to understand, Gaurav.
Good. So this is one forward-looking mindset. Second is the marketing angle, in the sense, remember that CV is your brochure. It's your marketing document. Okay. It is not a job description. Yeah. I always say CV is the first thing that represents you when you are not there, or till the time you are there. Yeah. So remember that it needs to kind of showcase your achievement. And think about brochure. Does brochure have all the features of the product? No, right? The brochure will generally have those top features, right, which will actually sell their product to that TG, to that target group. So if you're writing a consulting CV, remember the difference between CV and biodata. Biodata is almost like a legal document, or it needs to be exhaustive. You cannot omit anything. CV, there's no requirement like that. In CV, you can do selective communication. In your job, you did 10 projects. Yeah. You don't need to write all 10. Nobody's going to punish you for omitting 5 of them. Yeah. So ensure that you write things right from a marketing angle. Okay. This you should be marketing yourself well. Third is frugality. Yeah, I always say CV is the most expensive real estate in the world, right? So CV represents your entire professional life, yeah, on one A4 size paper. So every word on the CV counts. Okay, recruiters spend very low time, to be very honest, especially when there's a campus interviews, etc. Happens. Yeah, so make every word count. I think most of you are from very good background in terms of B schools, etc. So that can also share one concept which we call CV dilution. So a lot of time these days, because there is so much help available on the CV front, and then there is AI and all that stuff, right? Now, sometimes when we see the CV, the risk is not that the CV is like super bad. Yeah, a lot of time the risk is 80-90% of the CV is amazing, but 1 or 2 lines are there which completely pull down the quality of the CV. Right, so it's very important that when you write a CV, yeah, it is maintained at a level. Just because you want to write something, don't add a bullet point if it is not strong. I mean, you wouldn't believe it, but I have seen CVs which only cover 80% of the A4 size paper and the rest of the place is empty. I'm okay with it if whatever that person has written is super punchy, rather than a CV which is like completely from top to bottom, completely filled up. Yeah, but clearly there are 3-4 bullet points which are crap. Those scrap bullet points will kind of spoil it for you for otherwise good CV. Yeah, so use this real estate extremely frugally. Okay, less is more. Okay, on the CV. I'm not going to cover it. We all are probably already aware of it. So how to write the CV, the steps, etc. in detail, we have it in Consulting CV Guide, which you can go through. I think today our discussion is much more at a strategic level, right? Now, a few things that I want to talk about, okay, and with some examples as well. So whenever we are writing a CV at a bullet point level, right, especially in professional experience, kind of a section, yeah, write outcome-based sentences and not input-based. Okay, so for example, if you have done a kind of you work with a telecom company or telecom client and you have done research work, right? So see how some of the, I mean, I've just taken one example to tell you how you should, or how it evolves, right? So a very bad way of writing a bullet point would be conducting market research for a client, yeah, or conducted market research for a client. And I mean, the line can be much longer, but framing it in this way means it's a very task-based sentence. Yeah, it is almost like a job description kind of a language. Okay. A stronger way of writing something similar, right, is to add, yeah, what's the outcome? What's the impact? So the same sentence we can say by saying conducted comprehensive market research for a telecom client, leading to a 20% growth in revenue. Yeah. Now what I'm talking about? Now I'm talking about a strong sentence. I'm talking about I did market research, no doubt about it. Yeah. But I'm telling that because of that market research, yeah, what is it exactly that was a P&L impact for the client? Yeah, we are applying for consulting firms. So top line and bottom line impact, that is revenue impact, profit impact. If you write something at that level, that's like amazing. Okay. Now, because we are always in client focused work, which is the last line. Let me take this same sentence and make it even more better. Or let me put it in another way, which I always say, flip it around. Yeah. Now, the conducted comprehensive market research is also outcome-oriented sentence, no doubt about it. But in this one, you can say outcome is coming last. Yeah. Sometimes it is better if we flip it and start off, in fact, with outcome first. Now, the same sentence I can write as responsible for delivering 20% revenue growth for this thing, and through what? Through comprehensive research. So my activity, my action of research, now I have put it on the later half of the sentence. The client impact, I have brought it up. And of course, I think, though I'm introducing these two variations, yeah, when I do a one-on-one review, right, a lot of time, this is a call that you need to take. Basis what? I don't want you to write all the sentences with outcome first. There has to be a healthy mix of outcome first and activity first. Why? Because again, super marketing or branding mindset. Yeah, there might be a verb or activity that you want to sell or stress. Yeah, so did a competition analysis to do which resulted in whatever market entry in 2 markets or 1 million market. Now that 1 million market capture is an outcome which I'm consciously putting in the last part of my sentence. Yeah, because I want to market my ability to do competition analysis. So I want to sell the fact that I did competition analysis. So purposely I am putting outcome last and verb or action first. Yeah. Sometimes we get CV where people have done 5-6 years of experience, but there's no people leadership angle. Yeah. Though over there, we sometimes purposely start a sentence by saying, led a team of 3 consultants or whatever, 3 engineers to do blah, 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 blah. Now that blah, blah, blah is the outcome part, but I want to purposely tell the consulting company that I have not just been individual contributor, but I have also led people. To take advantage of that or to highlight that, to show them put that in their eyes, I start by saying led a team of 3 consultants. It's a very conscious choice. Yeah. Now, why I'm saying this, the right hand side or the end, etc., and the start, because always remember, it's a human tendency that when you are actually reading the document, the top part of the document, will get the highest amount of interest. And as you go through the document, your interest or sometime, your concentration goes down. Yeah, that's why we always talk about 1/3 first, 1/3 part of the CV, the real estate should be the strongest. That is like when you're going like this, top to down. Similarly, when we generally read from left to right. So that's why we always say, whatever we want to sell, if it comes earlier in the sentence on the left-hand side, it is better. Yeah. So generally it should be left and top should be the strong, aspect, and then it should flow like that. Yeah. But again, then there are a lot of other technicalities, as I said, whether it's balanced, right? The outcome first, outcome last, etc. Which there's no thumb rule per se. Therefore, that we need to sit on every profile and see exactly. That's the art part of it. Yeah. More than a science. Vague versus specific, of course, I think consultants are all, number-driven people, right? And hence, precise fact and figures are extremely, extremely important. Avoid, please, general or very vague statements. When you say that I contributed, I succeeded, client was happy, all these are very, very qualitative things. Yeah, we need quantification. So again, there's an example that I've given, right? So by saying I just doubled the sales, I'm saying double the car sales in 2 years, resulting in achievement of 30% of the whatever the target, right? So I'm just talking about, so because in the first sentence, doubling the sales, but see, doubling the sales doesn't give me the idea of how big was that impact, etc. Right? You can double the sales for a small shop versus double the sale for a big company. So we don't know that, right? But the moment I now relate it that we achieved a target because of that, right? Then suddenly the stature of that sentence, kind of quickly rose. Okay, so make it specific, make it number driven as much as possible. Conservative styling, we already spoke about it, right? But just to go through the list, right? Stick to traditional fonts, formats, black ink, please. No other colors. Use simple bullet points, no arrows and the funny jazzy thing, right? Simple circular bullets or dashes. Yeah, consistent margin and spacing. uh, a lot of people, when I get into review uh, and we do iterations, people say, Gaurav, you only spot mistakes. I've done 99% right, but you only say that 1% that I did not do right. And I always tell them that this is like a professional hazard, right? As a consultant, you get groomed, right? Because one of the evaluation point is attention to details, right? So when you show a consultant your CV, and if the margins are not aligned or the bullets are not, I mean, even these circle bullets, right? They come in different sizes, yeah. And even if you have one size difference, no, if consultants can catch it. It's not that means you will become a bad consultant, right? If you have a spelling mistake or a font a kind of inconsistency or alignment, yeah, it just showcases that you are probably not that serious. If you were serious, you would have ensured that everything is properly aligned. Yeah, that's why I talk about this attention to details. Yeah, do you have that attention to detail? And do you ensure that your outcome is polished? Okay, so yeah, that's the point. So keep it conservative, but keep it polished. Okay. A lot of people ask me profile summary, whether I should have a profile summary or not, etc. So generally, I mean, there are again, this is also science and art, and some of the things we need to take a call depending on your profile, and it cannot be coded as this is the rule. Okay, but generally speaking, profile summary is a good idea if you already have some switches. So if you have gone from one industry to another, yeah, then when I go through your CV, your story that you are trying to tell me, that your marketing, your pitch, yeah, might not come out very strong. Okay, and that's why a profile summary in 2-3 sentences, you can weave that together. And always remember, always write the profile summary last when you are writing a CV. Don't start with a profile summary. I mean, unless you are super expert. So you might say, Gaurav, you are talking very counterintuitive, right? Yeah. As a consultant, you need to be a top-down communicator. In the slides, we always write executive summary first and then the individual slide, which is correct. Yeah. So if you are at that level, feel free to write profile summary. But otherwise, try and write your CV first. Yeah. See how it is shaping. Is it communicating what you want to communicate? Right? If not, yeah, if there are switches and by giving it that a particular flavor, right, you are able to market it better, right? Then write a profile summary, because in profile summary you can tell a story. Okay. Otherwise, the CV is always going to be chronological. Hmm? Again, 10 plus years of experience, same thing. Because in 10 plus years, generally you switch, you go through multiple roles. Yeah. So we need to, or sometimes there are so many employers that last 2-3 employers we have to skip, but you need to write something from that part. So for all that additional things as well, the profile summary always works. Okay. Or typical background. So I remember a US Marine that we had helped who joined McKinsey afterwards. So For some of these profiles, no, it's a good idea to write. So now, just imagine this U.S. Marine, right? He had done 2 tours to Middle East, and he was afterwards deployed in the engineering function in US, right? So he had written all those things. But what will he write, right? Like killed 50 terrorists. So nothing. I mean, it's not much related to the business background per se, right? But then his leadership related flavor, right? People leadership, working in a very ambiguous condition, under high pressure, etc. Those flavors we could actually bring in profile summary. Yeah, because they were otherwise missing in the individual bullet points. So there are specific areas or specific cases for which profile summary is a good idea. And sometimes, it needs, that call needs to be taken by after actually evaluating and really thinking about that individual profiles. But if you are going to write a profile summary, don't write very big one, huh? 3 to 4 lines, not more than that. Yeah. And if you're writing 2 to 3 bullet points, try and give different flavors. So if one is about geographical diversity, make the other one industry exposure. So give yourself, those multiple punches. Yeah. Think of it as 30 seconds. So CV in itself is a brochure, but think of it as that brochure's brochure, right? So it's there's a movie, then there is a trailer of 3 minutes, and let's say that there's an advertise of that movie which is 30 seconds, right? So think of the professional summary as the advertisement slot. Yeah, keep it very, very punchy. Hmm? A few more things to keep in mind. CV is a live document, guys. Yes, absolutely. Keep it most updated. Okay, don't write a CV and then just spray around the same CV everywhere, right? We need to kind of ensure that we send CV which is super customized. Okay, I think I think last month somebody was applying. One of my client was applying to Alvarez and Marsal, and he had a CV which we had written previously for strategy, and uh, so basically he has a lot of experience, and some of the bullet points which were good but we had omitted because it was for strategy and right, mostly related to operations and turnaround. Now we switched some of those and replaced them with more turnaround operations project, because we know that now the CV is going to Alvarez and Marsal. The strategy and Alvarez and Marsal CV were different. Yeah, some of the bullet points we did change. Yeah, it's not just one CV going in all consulting companies. Okay, and that is where when you do this coffee chats, talk to people, right, and you come to know about what's happening over there, right? For example, I mean Middle East, which is the hottest market, right? 80% of the work over there is public sector, right? So if you have worked a lot in public sector or generally multiple sectors, right? For a Middle East office, probably you would like to focus more on public sector projects showcasing, right? And for the sake of the real estate restriction we have, you would want to deprioritize probably some of the work that is not in public sector, right? So what I'm just giving example, right? It doesn't have to be like this, but I'm just saying that always ensure that you customize the CV, and review. Of course, I think this I cannot stress it more. Ensure that your CV is reviewed by coaches, by ex-consultants, by your peers. Yeah, keep a 2-3 layers of CV review before it goes to the employer, because once it goes there, if there's a mistake or if it could have been optimized, then the chance is gone. Yeah, so ensure that you actually review the CV multiple times. This is part of the CV guide. You will have it already. So yeah, this is what I had um, in terms of some of the best practices that I wanted to share with you of CV writing. um, these have worked for, of course, my clients, and there is no reason why they shouldn't work for you. Any queries, guys, you have already, or should we take the CVs to roast? Quick queries. As usual, I have spent a lot of time. So we are going to be crossing our 1 hour mark.
Hi, Gaurav. I have a question.
Yes. Yeah, Sharan, please tell me.
It'll be quick. So, this is in terms of updating our CV for the different opportunity that we're applying to. My question is like in
Mhm.
terms of like for example, if I'm say I'm applying for a company A, I have made my CV, but I'm applying for the company B. Should I like change the aspects in terms of the just the JD, or what else should I look up to in terms of updating my the specifics of my CV? Like should it be just
So,
depending on the job description that they offer, or something else as well, like the role, and not just that, but is there something else that I should consider?
so right now we are talking about consulting opportunities, right? And mostly in consulting
Yeah.
opportunities, JDs wouldn't change much, yeah. But the type of firm, right? For example, if you are applying to ZS, right, versus you are applying to Kearney, right? The focus of the company is different. No? We already know that ZS is more focused on pharma and marketing, right? And Kearney is more strategy, operation strategy kind of a company, right? So we know that. So in from my bank of bullet points or my projects that I did, right? I'll ensure that I put in those points which are more aligned to that what that company is doing. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Let me just a minute. I'll just pull up some CVs. Ashwin, yeah. Ashwin, you're there? Ashwin Philip?
Yeah, yes, I'm in the call.
Great, man. Thanks a lot for volunteering to share the CV. It's already a very good CV, by the way. So I'm happy that you're giving me less work on the CV. Okay, cool. Guys, so this is Ashwin's CV and very good in terms of the layout, etc. Now I'm wearing kind of a recruiter or a consulting partner's hat, okay? And I'm trying to go through it and probably also wearing a recruiter's hat afterwards. So I'm going top down chronological. So first thing is this LinkedIn link is not a good idea, right? The full LinkedIn profile ID, yeah, because this assumes that it will remain PDF. It'll always assume that this is going to be a printout. Okay, so as far as possible, write a full LinkedIn ID. Then this, I don't know why this is green. Generally, it should be blue or black, this link, because this color is almost invisible. So use black color, and if the link is becoming blue, then that dark blue is good idea. But otherwise, this light color is not a good idea. I'm going down into your education. ESCP, very good, very good. ESCP ranked 5
Gaurav,
in Europe. Yeah.
could you repeat the first part because I there was a network issue and I missed that story.
Yeah, no, I just said that the LinkedIn ID, you should write the full LinkedIn link.
Yeah.
And this funny green color that is coming up, it should be either black or blue, that
Okay.
link color. Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Then ESCP ranked 5 in Europe. That is eating up your CV one line unnecessary. In the ESCP Business School, which is you have written the bold over there itself, you can write FT ranking 5 or something like that in short. Yeah, you don't need to waste the entire line for that. And anyways, ESCP being 5th in Europe is not your achievement, by the way. Yeah, that is ESCP's
Yeah.
achievement. Yeah, so
Yeah.
write it besides that. Selected for business immersion in Singapore. This again, it's not achievement oriented anymore, because you haven't written that you are selected amongst how many? Were there 3 people and out of that one, or 1 out of 500? So when you say selected in the bracket, you would have seen people write, right? 1 out of 500, and the writing like that. Write like that, no? Then only we'll know that this selection means something prestigious. Otherwise, how would I know whether this selection is this one, right? Master's thesis on investment strategies of German VCs. Very plain sentence, right? can you add something in this thesis? What was the outcome, or what was it targeted for? Right? What are the what can you write at least one finding over there? Otherwise, this is like just right, just giving you an advantage that you have written a thesis, which probably everybody at ESCP would have done it. It doesn't tell me why your thesis was a big deal. If it is not a big deal, then remove this bullet point. Again, this will otherwise just CV dilution. If it is not an achievement, remove it ruthlessly. Okay. Christ University, 3 bullet point, head of operations. Okay, 500 plus participants. See, here you have written, you have led logistics for 500 participants, and now it tells me that scale at which you have handled the event, and which is very nice. Yeah. The third point, no, interned with Grant Thornton. Grant Thornton being another kind of a consulting research kind of a company, right? What I suggest is that bullet point you should put it up as a first bullet point, that you have done internship with Grant Thornton, just from a perspective
Okay.
of what can I say, prioritization. Okay, prioritize that, make that the first bullet point. Relevant experience, CV is all about relevant experience. Yeah, so don't write relevant experience, write professional experience over there. Yeah, this CV is all about relevant experience only. Irrelevant, we are anyways not going to route. Now this CGAT, whatever that company is, right, in Germany. I don't know this company, and I'm sure a few people over here wouldn't know, right? So unless it is like a Microsoft or Google, right, you can write in the bracket, right, $2 billion biotech company or something like that, so that we know what this company is. Or if it is a startup, then one of the fastest growing startup, Sequoia funded 50 million, whatever, or ex McKinsey founder startup, something like that, right? So that I know the company that we are working, is a reputed company. Yeah. See, do not assume that because you work in biotech, the interviewer or the recruiter would also have biotech understanding. Huh? Okay. Then, okay. Now your bullet point. Designed a market entry framework for 20 APAC and Gulf countries, prioritize top 5 via market attractiveness and ease of study. So, what's the impact? What did it result in? Which resulted in 2 market entries, or which resulted in 2 potential targets market entry, something like that. No, there has to be outcome, no? You are only talking about activity, mapped cross-border biosample logistics and regulatory barriers. Good. But then what? That mapping helped them in doing what? Because of that mapping has some kind of regulatory process became 10% faster, or would become 10% faster. What exactly will happen because of that mapping? There is no outcome in these sentences. These are exactly the kind of sentences that we want to optimize, Ashwin. And
Okay.
if you are,
So I my
good.
rationale was basically, so I mean, I took a suggestion from a friend and tried to make the points in just one line. So I wanted to fit it in
It's
one
not
line.
needed.
So
You can have
I
no.
had to.
I don't know that is a very wrong suggestion. Nothing to do with it. You
Okay.
can add another second. I mean, it can go to second line. That's not a problem. Yeah, but let there be
Yeah.
an outcome. I'm moving on because
Okay.
we have limited time. Uh,
Sure.
your 4-cost GmbH again. Now the same lens. Now you should wear. Huh? I'm not going through all the bullet point, but you should go through all the bullet point with this lens. Now, this gained experience in stakeholder interviews and all this stuff, all these with arrows, no, remove all these points. Your bullet point should reflect that you actually have gained experience in stakeholder interview, etc. Same thing you have done in additional skills and interest. Communication, GTM strategy, fundraising. Now you can't just say that these are the skills that you acquired, right? So we will decide whether you have acquired those skills or not, basis reading this and interviewing you.
Okay.
Getting my point? So this gained experience, learn to evaluate, all these are remove those.
Oh,
Yeah. Even this Innovis, we see the bullet points, second and third, there are no numbers. Put some numbers over there. Yeah. That's that. Language. This is not the way to write languages. Native in it should be language in the bracket. You talk about the your fluency. For example, English in the bracket fluent. I mean, C2 means fluent, right? I mean, you're almost in your if you are if you have grown up in India, we are almost like native English, right? But we can always write English
Yep.
native, right? German B1 is intermediate basically, yeah. Malayalam native,
Yeah.
right? Like that. Don't write in full sentence. The language in the bracket, the fluency level. Technical skill,
Got it.
I
Yep.
don't see any value adding technical skill in this. Right? MS Office, like my kids also know now MS Office, right? So there is no differentiation,
Yeah.
right? You have done a MSc in strategy and digital business, so financial modeling, DCF, what big deal? So
Yeah.
only add things which you think will give you differentiator in a consulting role.
Yeah.
Right? So remove that. Interest, very nice. I'm happy that you haven't written 10 interest with comma, comma, comma. Good 2-3 interest with in the bracket, showing them you have done something significant in that interest. Very nice. I'm liking that interest part of it. Volunteering. I just have one point on this volunteering part, right? So second one is good, but this community for immigrants in Europe's tech industry, I don't know the work in favor of immigrants or against the immigrants, whether people will have a bias for or against it. So rather
Yeah.
than putting it, I'll just remove it because I don't
Okay.
know who my interviewer is going to be and what his idea about immigration is, right? So why to take a risk? Yeah. Once you get in the consulting
Got it.
company, you can over the lunch you can debate and fight over that. But while
Yeah.
applying, let's not take that risk, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one question. So about the technical skills section, I mean, what do you think I should put in there? Like, I mean,
Remove.
these are the things that I thought. You want me
Remove
to
them.
remove it?
Yes.
Okay.
No technical skills are required unless you, I mean, at least in top 20 management consulting companies, if you're applying, none of those skills are going to be the skills because of which you will get a job or you will get a interview call or you will not get an interview call because you don't have them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Thanks so
cool.
much.
I'm just moving to the next CV. Sorry for being a little bit rushed. Kabir Sethi. Kabir, you're there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, thanks, Kabir, again for volunteering.
Sure.
Okay, can you see the CV?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, NCERT, good. Education. Wow. Okay, cool. So let me go through from top to down, huh? Awarded INSEAD Asia Scholarship Fund scholarship, please write either percentage or dollar number. 30% of the tuition fee, $50,000, whatever it is, yeah. So please write it. Second bullet point is not even an achievement. Participated in 7-week exchange in INSEAD Abu Dhabi campus, big deal, yeah. Everybody would get a chance to do that, no? So there's no achievement per se. You have already taken the benefit of that by writing Singapore, UAE, France. Yeah. The second bullet point doesn't add any value. Yeah.
Okay.
Selected to be one of the 8 Arrow Scholars, great. So 2% selectivity, very nice. Very nicely written point. University of Warwick, crisp, 2:1. Okay, good. That is good. I'm coming back to your experience section. TCS Paris, AI for AI. Okay. So I'm just wondering, because you have one bullet point which is like 3 lines. Yeah.
Hmm.
Can you make it into 2 points, separate points?
Hmm.
Because this is very difficult to read.
Okay.
Also check your bullet points. Your bullet points are all over the place. They are not properly aligned. See where the bullet point is on the left-hand side of the develop a strategy sentence. It is not aligned properly. Are you getting that?
I don't see it clearly, where the misalignment is, but I can check it.
Why?
Can you point
Okay.
a pointer or something?
I am not able to point it. Okay, just a minute. Annotate. Can you see this?
Huh.
Okay, see this also. Can
Hmm.
you see it now?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. To check the bullet
And
points.
I think I saw it multiple places. Just check it. See, you are here, consulting analyst, the lead project management for systems.
Hmm.
The bullet point, the bullet as it's not aligned with the sentence. Anyways, so you
Let's see.
can do
Okay,
that.
fine,
It's
fine,
a
fine,
long
fine.
sentence. Okay. Now Deloitte MCS. What is MCS?
It's the name of the legal entity that I was employed with in
Uh,
the UK.
Is this a short form or something? Because I've never heard of MCS. What
On
I
my
suggest,
contract, on the contract, it was written, so I wanted to be kind of.
just legally correct. Remove it,
Huh.
yeah. It's just confusing. It just say
Okay,
Deloitte.
okay,
MCS Limited, both the things you remove. Yeah.
okay.
Consulting senior analyst and consulting analyst, there's unnecessary line in between. Yeah, it is just giving me a, it is confusing me whether consulting analyst is another company, right?
Okay,
Because
okay.
TCS, Deloitte, you have kept the same font as your role name as well, right? Which is
Hmm.
again adding to the confusion. So do one thing,
Hmm.
consulting analyst, you take it a little bit up so that it shows as a progression within Deloitte.
Okay, fine, fine.
Second thing that
ठीक.
I feel that given that in 1 year you have got promoted to senior analyst, why
Hmm.
don't we take that credit and say something like a fast promotion bullet point in the senior analyst role as a first bullet point
Hmm. Okay.
that rewarded with out of turn promotion for whatever amazing work, whatever. So that bullet point you can start the senior analyst role, no?
Hmm.
Because you have a lot of space on your CV, so you can easily add that, and we can take a credit for that. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is that. First couple of points are in my mind, as I gave the example, these are the perfect points to do a flip. Spearheaded
Hmm.
meetings with a demand planner. Now, spearheading meetings with demand planner, is it a big deal? Or, right, you are talking about whatever. So, where is that? As is process or whatever is the outcome, right, that you achieved over here. Should that be marketed
Hmm.
ahead of that?
Hmm.
The activity which is spearheading the meeting is not
Hmm.
that great activity in my
দুটো
mind.
লোখানি
Understood.
Yeah. Same thing
Okay.
with collaborated with client and software vendor,
Huh.
right? So rather than
ভাই
starting with that, I think
হোক না এটার মধ্যে
somebody is
যদ্দুরা তোমার
talking.
নেওয়ার নিয়ে না বাকিটার মধ্যে রেখে দাও
Sorry, I don't hear you clearly.
Yeah, I think somebody's was unmute. Okay, cool. So just think about that. Yeah, collaborated, spearheaded. Spearheaded is still a decent verb, but otherwise, just try and see whether you can flip it and start with outcome first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Again, as a senior analyst, did you have analyst under you in any of the project? None of the project?
None of
Okay,
the projects.
leave it. Leave that. Barclays Execution Service Limited. What is this? Again, I
Again,
haven't
again, the
heard
legal
about it.
entity name, but I can just write Barclays Bank. That's
That would be
easier.
so amazing. Yeah, good.
Okay.
That would be amazing. Good. Additional information section. This is probably the biggest additional information section I have seen in my life.
Okay.
So
That's good.
why
Okay.
so many things, man? This is the bottom 1/3. Yeah. So this nobody's going to read it
Okay.
so
Okay.
much. Yeah. So uh, this family-owned business, if you have done some closing of the deal, put it in your experience. No, get it up. Yeah.
Okay.
The
Okay.
certification, I don't see much value in that. Yeah.
Fine.
You can
Okay.
again think about whether the companies that you guys are interviewing at INSEAD, would they really find some of these certification good? Yeah. Now, interest, again, you have put in so many interest. In cricket, you have done something significant. So under interest, right? 2, 3, no?
Okay.
Add cricket over there, whatever, led this particular team, right? If you want to talk about meditation, right? I've been doing it for the last 10 years, whatever it's there. So do something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Languages, I think it's good. Other information, research and gathered empirical data. It's okay. When did you do this internship? Can we put it in experience section?
Long time ago, 2017.
Why don't
I
you
can
put
also
it? So
remove
this,
it. I can remove it
uh,
also. It was a
then
1 month thing,
remove it.
really not much more to write, not much more to write. So either I remove it
Okay.
or
Okay.
I
Remove it.
keep it there.
Then
Okay.
remove
Fine.
it. And volunteering is good. Previous education, you don't need it in my mind. Yeah.
Okay.
School education is like too much. Nationality, work authorization, I always say selective communication. If you have an advantage because of stating that, it's a good idea. If you don't have advantage, remove it. You're anyways
I do. Reason
getting
I think
uh,
I do have an advantage, which is why I put it.
super. Then it's good because I
Okay.
think if you're going through INSEAD and campus interviews, so anyways, I think any of the companies that are evaluating you, they will do the visa thing. So not necessarily we need to punch this point, but if you have an advantage, of course, put it. Very good.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
in the third CV and the last one of the evening. Amit, you're there? Hello.
Hello, yes, sir. I am there, sir.
Okay, good, super. Just a minute, Amit. I'm just pulling it up. Okay, good. Can you see the CV?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think I'm hearing my own echo, so you can mute yourself when
Okay,
you are
okay.
not talking. When you want to talk, you can unmute yourself. Okay. So just a minute. I had also seen your CV a minute back. I have some notes. Okay, cool. So I have my notes are up. Okay. So Georgetown University, McDonough. Okay, good. Can you put, is there any scholarship or any club leadership like consulting club member or leader or any energy club, any insurance club? If you are part of any club leadership or if you have got scholarship, please add. Okay.
Okay, sir. I'll
Uh,
add club.
Second, is graduated with CGPA of 8.4 on 10. So these are extremely wordy. Yeah. In your CV overall, no, Amit, I think what you need to work on is much more crisper and strategic language. This is written in a very layman language. Okay. Now, this graduated and entire this 20-word line can literally be collapsed to CGPA dash 8.4 slash 10. That's it. Done. Right?
Got
So
it,
keep
sir.
it, don't write in Queen's English. Like the full sentence is not needed. Yeah. Just write those things, right? For example, inter-university debate champion, right? Student of the year for 3 years, whatever. Yeah. So just write like that. Don't write full sentences. Okay. Now LIC. Okay, LIC experience. Now I had one point that came to my mind when I was going through your CV. Given that this is a little bit atypical CV coming from a non-private sector. So you worked there for almost 12 years, yeah, and you got what 4 promotions or 3 promotions, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that normal or it is fast growth? If it is fast
Sir,
growth, no, then we need to write it or we need to take advantage of that. And just after LIC of India line, you can write that apprentice to senior development officer in 12 years, comma 3 promotions, something like that.
sir, it is very much common in LIC of India.
Then it's okay. If it is common, then it is not achievement oriented. So that's LIC Corporation of India. I think in the bracket you should write because you are going to apply outside of India. So write the description, whatever, $10 billion company or company
Hi.
that insures
मैंने साथ में खा
whatever,
लिया खाना
50 million. Yeah. So write the description of that. Now, I'll just give an example because I think in your CV, a lot needs to be changed. I think every bullet point we need to really see whether it can be made a little bit more strategic. Yeah. So just to give you a simple example, right? So you have led 50 plus financial literacy drives in rural area that resulted in USD 1.5 million in new policies while expanding LIC's presence in undeserved communities. Yeah. Good point. Now try and see if you can wear a strategic hat. Can we start by saying expanded the TAM, target market of LIC, yeah, by targeting a rural market, right? Which is what do we say? Which is not the target market, right? And increasing the awareness by running financial literacy program. Same activity, but rather than be focusing that you ran 50 plus literacy drive, which I don't know what is the value in consulting firm's mind. I am now saying that for my company, there was this perceived market and there was a market which we never targeted, but I increased my TAM, which is target market, by really increasing the awareness. And to do that, I did a literacy drive. Are you getting what I'm trying to say, Amit?
Yes, sir. I'm
Yeah.
getting your point.
So like that, no, try and put a little bit more strategic spin, yeah, on your bullet points. Okay. Yeah. I'm moving forward, buddy, from experience to distinctions. So distinctions are because they are technology and all these are not distinctions. So just write other information. Yeah. Don't write distinctions. Again, the technology Power BI certification, Microsoft Suite, remove it. There's no achievement orientation, right? So anyone can do it. Global mindset, remove it. It's not nothing special on that. Community is fine. Adventure sports. So that's interest again, same thing. So there's too many interests. Rather than that, just keep 1 or 2 and substantiate them properly by writing something in the bracket. Okay. Community
Okay,
point
sir.
is okay. That's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Cool. I'm just stopping the share. Supriyo, yes, Supriyo, please.
Yeah, hi. I just had one question. Like in the previous one, you
Yes.
mentioned that complete name of the organization may not need to be mentioned. But isn't that going to be counted as a misrepresentation? Because if the complete name is not mentioned, then
No,
won't that count as a misrepresentation?
no. What is it that I'm misrepresenting in this? If I'm writing KPMG, rather than write KPMG A B C D E F G, right? Unless I'm like instead of KPMG, I'm writing McKinsey. No big deal.
Okay.
See, don't forget that there is a proper employee the verification that happens afterwards, right? So generally at this level, nobody does this kind of thing, right? Yeah, Ashwin, please. I have 2 minutes, guys. We
So
have session in 10 minutes.
my
So
question is about work experience.
yeah,
I mean, experience section. What come only work experience, only professional work experience comes under that, or can we add like club experience or something like that?
which experience apart from that?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So my question is under experience section, can we, for example, in my experience section, I have added a VC analyst position, but that is actually not a professional experience. So I was associated with a company basically, but I was doing it part-time. It was not a full-time experience.
That's okay. Part-time internship can be added.
It was not like an internship as well. It was something we did it like voluntarily. So it's like a community of venture capital, student venture capitalists, similar to
Say,
scouting.
can't say. I'll have to look into it a little bit more deeper in order to take a call on that.
Okay.
But
What
yeah,
about consulting projects from college? I have consult. I have a
see, now what is the happening? No, consulting project from college, capstone projects, all these things are now. There's so much variety, right? People are doing even full-time
yeah.
role. People are doing like remotely, right? Full salaried people, right? Versus so many important projects college students are doing from campus. So it's no more now about whether I'm doing it from home, I'm doing it remotely, I'm doing it with professor. It's about what is it exactly you're doing, how much is the exposure. If you write on the CV and the questions come, can you actually defend those questions? Yeah. So technicalities, keep it aside for a minute. You think about how much time you spend and will you be able to talk about it? Yeah. If you are able to talk about it, then put it in the professional experience. Yeah. If you are going to struggle, right? If that's the fear, don't put it. Okay.